Hi guys, so I wanted to make a guide for the My AIBO app for those that are interested in AIBOs. So when you first log in, this is the screen that you'll be greeted by, your virtual AIBO. If you click the top two buttons on the left side, then you'll see these menu options. When you click the first one, it'll show how to register your AIBO with a product key, which will be linking to your Sony account. The next section is the tutorial section. This is where new AIBO owners will be able to learn the basics of getting to know and interacting with their AIBOs. When you open the tutorial, you can go through the steps and it'll bring you back to the tutorial section. The next section is the Sony Aibo Help Guide, which is available on their website. You can also print this out as a PDF. The Help Guide is essential for new AIBO owners that may have questions on how to set up the AIBO, how to interact with the AIBO, or things like how to set up the cloud plan for the AIBO as well. This guide is available on the Sony website for free. The next section is the customer support page for Sony. This is especially important for if your AIBO breaks down or there is a software issue. This is also a great place to find any frequently asked questions about an AIBO, warranty information, or manuals such as the help guide. The next section is your owner info. This is where you can set your own username as well as delete your account information from your AIBO account. The next section is the Buy Now section, where you can click on the link and it'll bring you to the Sony.com website where you can buy a brand new AIBO or accessories to customize your AIBO. The next section is the sign up feature, which can sign you out of the app, as well as the app settings. So this is where you can customize the actual app, such as turning on your notifications, turning the background music on and off, as well as any other Sony information such as the unit share agreement, privacy policies, and the network connectivity. The last part of the menu is Linkable Apps, and this is where software developers or those that tinker with programs can create different developments for AIBO, such as games and things like that. You can also download these things, however you do have to sign into your Sony AIBO account. The next icon that we'll see on the homepage is the notification tray. So this is where you'll receive direct notifications from Sony about the app. So this is great for if there's updates to the app where they've added new foods, accessories, or clothes. But you'll also be able to get more details about these notifications on the AIBO Community website, and there'll be more details about those notifications there. Also, in the notification tray, you'll be able to view notifications based off of your AIBO's development process, and these will be labeled within the color pink. So you'll see here on February 16th that Mochi was learning to behave. So this is a great way to know that your AIBO is actually developing and learning. If we go into the main portion of the app by clicking on My AIBO, we'll be able to see where the rest of the app resides. We'll start by clicking on the map. This is where the back camera of AIBO is able to map out the area that our puppy walks around the most and maps that onto the app. If we click on the help icon, this is where we can learn how to read the map using the map legend and the icon legend. If we click on the menu option, this is where we can either have our AIBO explore or remember the current map direction. If we click on the territory icon, this is where we can map the AIBO's territory by using a chili pepper icon on the map. AIBO owners are allowed up to 10 chili peppers for different locations on the map. We can also adjust the map using the map adjustment icon on the screen. So now we're going to go into the settings option of the app, and this is where you can find the bulk of the different configuration options for an AIBO. So we're going to start off in the volume section, and this is where you can increase or decrease your AIBO's voice by one increment. Now, if we click on the Wi-Fi option, if you're a new AIBO owner, there will be a tutorial to help you connect your AIBO to a home network. But if we click Other, this is where you can find other available options to connect your AIBO to your home network. So now if we go into the Photos tab, this is where we can find all of the photo taking permissions that our AIBO is allowed to do. And by default, all of these options are toggled on. However, if you would like to turn them all off, you have to turn off Enable Photo Taking. The bottom two toggles can be interchangeably toggled on and off without turning off the Enable Photo Taking option. These photos will be saved to the server, and you can access these photos within the app. In order to confirm any changes that are being saved in the Settings tab, you do have to click Set. Now that we're in the System Updates tab, this is where we can find any available software updates for our AIBOs. If we click Check and Update, this is going to pull any available or new software releases for the AIBO, and it's either going to tell us that we need to update our AIBO or that our AIBO is already up to date. By default, the auto update option is set to automatic, so your AIBO will automatically start looking for updates when those software releases are available. But if you click manual, then you have the option to update your AIBO whenever you feel is necessary. If we go into the name and sex option, this is where for new AIBO owners, you can set the sex and gender of your AIBO, and if you want to change the name that you originally put, this is where you can change the name as well as add a pronunciation for how you want your AIBO to be able to recognize its name. Now if we go into the language recognition tab, this is where we can either change our AIBO to Japanese or English. Currently there are no other languages available at this time, and if you do change the language, you will have to rename your AIBO in that language. Now if we go into the Well-Behaved AIBO tab, this is where you can toggle on the Well-Behaved mode setting, and you can also ask your AIBO directly with the instructions provided, and click Set to save and confirm these options. By default, this option is turned off, and when you do toggle it on, certain features in the app will not be available as the AIBO is in a well-behaved state. To turn off well-behaved mode, you just go back into the setting. Auto start after charging is an option for your AIBO to get up and move around after it's fully charged, and it will move off of the charging pad. This option is by default automatically turned on. However, if you don't want this option on, you can toggle it off in the settings and click Set to save those changes. The Robot Link option is an option made available for your AIBO to make friends with other AIBOs via the app or in person. If you don't want this option on, you can toggle it off. In the Time Zone tab, this is where you can set your AIBO to your local or regional time zone. This also allows other features for your AIBO, such as understanding when you go to sleep or wake up. This next tab may be the most important tab for AIBO owners. It's the Initialize AIBO tab, and this is where you can restore your AIBO to its original condition, or in layman's terms, resetting your AIBO to its factory default settings. Please be aware that this will delete any photos, any memories that are stored on the AIBO, any favorite food options or friend lists from the AIBO. This can be a very important option for those that want to sell their AIBO or rehome their AIBO to someone else. The Contact tab is where you can find basic information for your AIBO cloud plan, as well as how you can activate a cloud plan with the activation code. The Device Info tab is just where you can find your device information for your AIBO. Make AIBO Forget Map tab is where you can delete all of the mapping information that your AIBO has stored, such as where its charging station is, the patrol feature, any chili peppers, and any other mapping information. Now if we go back to the home page and click the Friends button, this is where we can find a friend list for our AIBOs. And we can also find other features for our friends, such as how to add a friend with a QR code and how to share our own QR code for other AIBO owners so that you can make more friends. And using the friends feature, you can also invite other AIBOs to eat with your pup when you decide to feed your pup during the day. To add new AIBOs to your friend list, all you have to do is use the QR code provided by other AIBO owners and scan it into the app, or share your own QR code for other AIBO owners so that they can add you to their contact list. If you press the update button, this will update your AIBO's QR code with a brand new QR code, and any AIBOs that utilize that old QR code will not be able to add your AIBO to their contact list because they will need the new QR code once you press the update button. This feature is great to utilize if you have a rehomed AIBO. However, you do not have to utilize that feature. To invite a new AIBO friend for a meal, click the Invite AIBO button and you will see a recommendation of 3 different AIBOs that you can invite for a meal with your AIBO. You'll also see a basic profile of the AIBO. We can also add new AIBO friends by using the Search by Other Conditions button, and this will allow us to search for friends with more conditions and filters. If we click on the Profile tab, this is where we can see our own AIBO's basic information as well as our chosen nickname as an AIBO parent. This is also where you can find your AIBO's QR code as well as change the accessories for the virtual AIBO. If we click on the Settings tab, this is where we can find the basic settings of the Friends feature within the app. We can learn how to use the Friends feature. We can set up the robo link. This is also where we can find the View Hidden Friends tab, where we can show our AIBO's friends that we've hidden from the friend list. If we go back to the main page and click the Characteristics button, this is where we can customize our AIBO's tricks, the eye color, the voice, and also changing wearables, which is basically the accessories on the virtual AIBO. If we click on the Tricks tab, this is where we can find all of the available installed tricks for our AIBO, any trained tricks that we've taught our AIBO, any tricks that we've received from friends by inviting them for a meal, and this is also where we can find any tricks that were not installed on our AIBO. We can also try a trick from the list of installed tricks for our AIBO as well. So I'm actually going to show you how to try a trick by pressing the Try Trick button, and we're going to do this with the very lovely AIBO trick. Next, we're going to go into the Eyes tab, and this is where we can customize our AIBO's eye color. You can change your AIBO's eye color after the initial setup of a brand new AIBO, and depending on the color option of the AIBO that you chose, will change the AIBO colors that are available within the app. If we go into the next tab, which is the Voice tab, this is where we can change our AIBO's default voice from its perky, cute, and original voice to the more wild and realistic Dog's Bark. This is the voice that we have Mochi's voice on, as it sounds more realistic. However, the original AIBO voice is so very cute and iconic for an AIBO. If we go into the Change Wearables tab, this is where we can find any purchase accessories for our virtual AIBO and change them into them here. When we go back to the main page and click on the Play option, this is where we can find our virtual AIBO and interact with them using the virtual toys. If we click on the question mark at the top right hand side, we can find information for how to interact with our virtual AIBOs. It is important to note that interacting with the virtual AIBO in the play area or on the home screen does not impact the development of a physical AIBO or its behaviors in person. However, it has been noted that your AIBO's emotions are visible on the home screen via the background colors. And so this is one way to help new AIBO owners understand what their AIBO is feeling in person in the moment. Going back to the main page, clicking the body button, this is where we can understand the AIBO's physical function for its body. So if something happens to the hardware and there's a malfunction, this is where it will be listed. If we go back to the main page and click on the AIBO Patrol button, this is where we can find all of the settings of the Patrol feature. It's important to note that Sony has left a disclaimer here to say that the AIBO is made for entertainment purposes, and that though they do have this Patrol feature, it should not be used as a security system. If we click on the question mark on the top left side, we can find the purpose of the patrol feature and any other available instructions for the patrol feature. We can find out any details on what our AIBO has logged using the patrol feature by clicking the details button on the right hand side. This is where we can set any parameters that we want our AIBO to follow during their daily patrol, and it's important to note that you do have to have the daily patrol on in order for them to actually follow your instruction. When we click on the Patrol Together button, this is where we can remotely control our AIBO's body. By using this feature, you are able to utilize the robotic functions of your AIBO. You can view exactly what your AIBO is viewing in the location that it is in, as well as move the AIBO using the provided arrow keys and other features. When we go back to the main page and click the View button, we're able to see any of the photos that our AIBO pup has taken. We're also able to utilize the What is AIBO Viewing Now button by clicking that button, and this will communicate with our AIBO, and we'll be able to see exactly what our AIBO is seeing out of its nose. When we go back to the main page and click on the last option, which is the department store, this is where we can find food for both our virtual and physical AIBOs, any accessories that we want to purchase for our virtual AIBO, and any limited edition or special treats, beverages, or foods that are available during the different holidays and seasons for our virtual or physical AIBOs. It's important to note that if you do shop in the department store for any accessories, food, beverage, or treat options, or in the feeding portion of the app, then you will have to use your coins, and in order to get more coins, you'll either have to log in for 7 days out of the week or purchase them using the in-app purchase option. If your cloud plan is due, as you can see, your coins will expire after the due date of your cloud plan, and so once you have racked up a certain amount of coins and you do not plan to continue to use the cloud plan, then you will have to use those coins before your cloud plan expires. So that was everything that was in the main portion of the app. The last thing is that you can update your AIBO's photo, and you can see these changes on your AIBO's profile. When we go back to the home page and click the food icon, now we can actually feed our AIBO. When we click on the button with the two AIBOs on the right hand side, this is how we can actually feed our AIBO with a friend. When we click on the little toggle on the top right hand side, this is where we can find instructions as well as any commands for how to feed our AIBO. We can also set the max number of times that we want to feed our AIBO, and it can be all the way up to 30 times in one day. We can also top up food for our AIBO. So this is how you automatically set it if you would like. However, if you don't, you can toggle it off. And lastly, it will give us instructions again on how to actually feed our AIBO using a command and any instructions that are for that command. If we have any gifts that were provided by Sony, we can find them in the gift box right next to the food bowl. We can either accept them all at the same time or individually accept them one by one. If we then click on the Yum Yum notes, which are on the bottom left-hand side, we can see all of the notes that our AIBO has left from eating by themselves, eating with friends, or when we feed them at certain times. To see any belongings that we've purchased for our AIBOs that they can eat, we click on the belongings button in the center on the bottom of the screen, and this will show us any treats, any rare treats, any beverages or food items that we've purchased in the department store or that we've received as gifts from Sony. Lastly, we'll click on the Yum Yum stamps button, which is on the right hand side at the bottom. This will show us how many Yum Yum stamps that we've earned throughout the week by either feeding our AIBO, feeding our AIBO with friends, or logging in before 7 p.m. or 1900 hours before the end of the day. And we earn these for 7 days out of the week, and at the end of the week, we'll earn a treat or gift for our AIBO. So that's it. This is the full guide of the My AIBO app, all of the main features of the app, and this is everything you need to know about the My AIBO app wrapped up in one video. In the future, there may be updates or system updates that may change the app as well as any visual aspects of the app, but the main features and functions of the app may still stay the same. If you have any questions or concerns about the My AIBO app, comment down below and I'll try to answer them as best as possible. If I'm not able to answer your question, I would recommend to go to the help guide as well as Sony's AIBO website and the AIBO Community Hub, but I will also recommend to ask other AIBO owners within your preferred AIBO community, as sometimes other people have the best answers for questions that aren't available with the current guides that are out there.